What's up everybody, this is Ven, and I welcome you to the M.O.C Spotlight, where we take apart what you build. For today's episode, we'll be going over Insect Warrior Dark Stag, created by Duo Moko and found on Flickr. Before we get started, I do want to say that, of course, at this point in time, the Shark Week challenge is over. If you participated, thank you very much. That is awesome of you. And the winner of the Shark Week challenge will be featured in the next M.O.C Spotlight after this one. So let's just push that out of the way so I can talk about my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the M.O.C, the build of the M.O.C itself, and the concept and ideas behind the M.O.C's creation. Each quality will mount up to 5 points, leading up to a final score that will be determined at the end of the episode. So let's get to it now, shall we? First off, this Insectoid warrior thingy does not look much like an insect. It looks like some sort of beefy Gundam guy with a really neat looking color scheme. Of course, black, you see that a lot, but it's really the metallic green that sticks out for me here. This looks really nice with the black, and this is what really caught my eye when I first looked at this M.O.C, because I don't really see metallic green being used that often. But then again, metallic green isn't the most available color out there. I completely forgot that that was even a thing until I looked at this M.O.C. And for those who are in doubt, it does exist. Well, it did exist in some of the Granddaddy Technic sets. But anyway, man, this M.O.C looks very impressive. It almost doesn't even look like a M.O.C. If I didn't know what the heck Lego Technic was, anyone could probably convince me that this was just an ordinary, like, Gundam action figure or something. The design of this guy is so smooth and sleek. And I'm personally a big fan of this sort of style when it comes to mocking humanoid-esque bionicle figures. I really like these proportions, and I really like how seamlessly put together it looks. I also appreciate the fact that Moko managed to fit in some pretty cool details on this M.O.C. Even the smallest things like these spikes on the toes that kind of complement the whole spiky motif it has, from portions like the armor pieces on the legs and smaller spikes that could be seen on the torso and the forearms. And while we're on the subject of aesthetics, let's look at this head here, because this is definitely the most interesting aesthetic feature on this M.O.C, and also the least humanoid portion of this M.O.C as well. I mean, unless you have some sort of spikes growing out the front of your face. No, don't worry, that's just acne. And blackheads don't count either. Quite the unique design here, and I take it that's where the name Stag really comes into play. But I can't help but wonder why this sort of insectoid look wasn't carried over with the rest of the body, even though I guess the spikes around the body kinda count. But come on, insects aren't the only things in this world that have spikes. I also really enjoy the design of the torso. The metallic green parts here are very well integrated, and I like the look of those little system pieces in the very center. Those sort of translucent green pieces, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And speaking of really well done integration, that is probably my highest praise about this M.O.C, is that everything flows together so well. Again, I do wish that there were more insectoid features on other portions of the body besides the face, maybe like small appendages on the stomach area or something, wings maybe, anything to complement the look of the head. Now, on to the build. The build of this M.O.C looks very intricate and really well covered up. I mean, just look at the back here. I'm just gonna focus on the back because this is really a good example of what I'm trying to get at here. I mean, it is excellently covered up, and we can see that this technique of coverage is used on pretty much all aspects of this M.O.C. The forearms, the upper arms, the legs, the thighs, especially the thighs, all making for a really solidified appearance, and by the looks of it, a fairly sturdy skeleton. And what really highlights this is the posability that this M.O.C has. Just look at the articulation it has. I mean, that's incredibly impressive. Also, I didn't acknowledge these earlier, but I really enjoy the look of these weapons. They look pretty well built, and I also enjoy the little function they have, which really harkens back to the dual function, or actually dual purpose, of Toa tools. Like, if you look at Pohatu here, it looks like he's carrying spiky weapons to make his villains go ouch. But really, they're more than just that. They can also combine to form a soccer ball. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And then meanwhile, this bug guy can turn his twin blades into some sort of large pair of scissors, which I guess is also supposed to represent the stag beetle, much like the design of the head. Isn't that genius? So not only do we have a really nice looking build, numerous points of articulation, but we also have a bit of a function going on here that's implemented into the creation, and I think that's really good. I've been saying really a lot this episode. Deal with it. Now, as far as the concept goes, I'm not sure exactly what this guy had in mind when he was designing this MOC. I think he just wanted to make something that looks cool with some insect-like features. I mean, it's called Insect Warrior Dark Stag, okay, so we have the warrior look, that's pretty cool, fairly neat idea. It's a well-armored humanoid being with a bug head. I guess that's why it's called the Insect Warrior, because its head is designed after the stag beetle, or at least I can presume it's based on the stag beetle, just by looking at the name of this creation. It's called Dark Stag, so you take that into account, and then you can easily recognize the pincers on the face. You can recognize the pincers on the weapons when they combine. It makes quite a bit of sense here. I really am intrigued to know what was going on behind the scenes with this mockist, because when I tried to look at his blog, which is where this creation was actually posted by him, I did find a description, or I think it was a description, I'm honestly not sure, because here's the thing, the blog is in a completely different language. I believe it's Japanese, and I'm not Japanese or any sort of Asian, so if anyone could help me out there and just check out the link in the description below, find your way to his blog, that'd be nice. Anyway, whatever he had in mind, it looks like it was executed really well. I mean, this is a fantastic looking MOC, it's very unique, and it definitely innovates the whole humanoid build or genre of Technic, Bionicle MOCs, etc. So my only real critique with the concept of this insect warrior is that I kinda wish it looked a bit more like an insect. As I mentioned earlier, maybe some extra appendages or more insect-like features. Maybe make it less humanoid or add wings or something that gives a better impression of an insect would have been nice, because I mean the first time I looked at this creation I didn't know what the heck I was looking at until I saw the name. I mean, obviously I knew I was looking at some sort of humanoid figure, but what threw me off was the head. I looked at the head and I thought, what the heck is this? And then I saw the description or the name and I said, whoa. Okay, I guess it's supposed to be some sort of insect. So that's all I have to say on that. Let's move on to the final scores. So, in terms of appearance, this MOC receives a 5 out of 5. I really enjoy the look of this MOC, and I can't say I have too many complaints. The head looks a bit odd, but that's not really a critique, just kind of a little comment, if anything a nitpick, but I do appreciate its distinctiveness. I enjoy the colors, I enjoy the proportions, and I enjoy the sleek and solid design. As far as the build goes, a pretty similar story. 5 out of 5. The dude did not hold back in creating the structure of this MOC, or the skeleton. I mean, look at this. There are just no restrictions. It's got just the right size to add details. It can stand up, which is the most important thing. It has crazy articulation. Like, you'd think that the design of these shoulders would prevent any sort of articulation up in this area, but no, look at that. No limits, no regrets, no nothing. And it's all really well covered up. I mean, man, I really like this MOC. And now finally, concepts and ideas behind this MOC receive a 4.5 out of 5. And there we have it, folks. An imperfect score. And it's because of what I said earlier. It doesn't really give me the impression of being based on any sort of insect. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell that it was supposed to be like a stag beetle unless you told me. Then I can easily look at it from that perspective and say, oh, it's supposed to be a bug? Okay. Oh, I see it now. I see the pincers that are kind of like a bug. And, that's that, I guess. And so, of course, that leaves us with the final score being 14.5 out of 15. Almost a perfect score. I mean, come on, gotta hand it to you, Moko. This MOC is probably one of my personal favorites now. Very inspiring. And so I'm sure some of you guys may disagree with me, but That's why you can post about that in the comments below, I don't care. And if you have a creation that you think should be featured on the Mock Spotlight, post it on our message boards for a higher chance of me recognizing it. It could be featured on a future Mock Spotlight. For now, thank you all for watching, and thank you again to those who participated in the Shark Week Challenge. Again, the winner will be featured in the next Mock Spotlight. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, check out our message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com, and I'll see you all next time.